People thought the pigeon chose the man until they saw the torn carrier handle hanging from his relaxed hand beside the park bench while walkers passed by. The walker first checked for crumbs. There was no food on the bench, no scraps on the ground, and the pigeon still stayed upright beside him. When the man lifted the handle, the bird's head moved with it. When he lowered it, the pigeon stepped toward that side, not toward his face. The walker watched long enough to notice the pattern. The bench, the quiet man, the handle, and the community board all sat in one small park corner. By then, the torn edge was hard to ignore. It was just a gray carrier handle, but the pigeon treated that piece like the important part. The man stood up, and the question changed. The pigeon did not stay with the bench. It followed 2 short steps on the handle side today. A different adult passed closer, calm and harmless, but the pigeon did not switch people. The walker started watching the man's hand with more care now. Then, the man moved to a second bench, and the pigeon followed the handle again. Not the man. If this was affection, it was acting more like a map. The easiest answer still sounded reasonable to her. The bird seemed to like the man's quiet body language, or that familiar bench area simply felt safe. The board added a cleaner possibility. Several flyers showed photos, and one picture had the shape of a pet carrier nearby on the board today. One detail kept bothering the walker. The pigeon never aimed at the man's eyes, his shoes, or the bench. It aimed at the handle each time. So the walker stopped guessing from a distance. She moved to the community board and began comparing the torn handle with the carrier photos by shape from nearby angles. That was when the first answer broke. The pigeon was not choosing a person. Its head angle stayed with the object, even when the man turned away in plain view. The upper flyer looked close, but its handle shape was clean. The torn gray piece in the man's hand had a different edge on closer inspection. Below it, another photo sat partly blocked. The pigeon stayed under that lower board area, calm and steady, near the carrier picture that mattered most. The walker shifted sideways until the lower flyer, the pigeon, and the man's hand shared the same line. The possible match now had a place instead of guessing. Still, she checked the upper flyer first. It almost worked, but the angle was wrong, and the pigeon remained below the lower photo at that moment. She lowered her gaze. The wrong flyer stayed above. The lower carrier photo sat below it, and the torn handle waited nearby in the man's hand. Now the old clue changed, from the first bench to the second. The pigeon's head had followed the torn carrier handle whenever the object moved nearby from the beginning. The walker held the handle near the lower photo. The torn edge matched the handle area on the gray carrier in the picture on the flyer. The man brought the returned carrier beside the board. The loose handle was placed near its attachment point, and the pigeon paused nearby in careful view. Once the handle was clipped back onto the carrier, the pigeon walked away from the man's hand. It had stayed for the torn handle, not the quiet man.